Hey guys, Phil Baumhardt here. So for today's video, I'm making a knife for a friend of mine who's an EMT. He reached out to me. I was looking for kind of a custom design for something with a serrated blade and a glass breaker. So this is the design I came up with. I went through a few different sketches and different ideas, but this is kind of what I came up with. I'm not 100% happy with the handle. I'll probably make it a little bit bigger, but it's got this hourglass shape so that it'll fit in the hand either direction you hold it. So there's no wrong way to hold this. Got the window breaker here on the end, and then it's going to have a serrated blade right here for cutting seat belts. So if there's a car wreck and he's can't get the seat belt off and he needs to cut through the seat belt, this is a dedicated tool for cutting through that seat belt. So that serrated blade is what he was looking for. So this is going to be curved right in here for slipping in between the person and the belt, and we got this looped over portion here just to kind of help protect the patient, because the last thing you want to do is hurt the guy you're trying to help. So there's also a little bit of a guard on there too, and this kind of hourglass shape, the way it swells out like that, that'll help keep your hand from slipping off if you were to do kind of a glass breaking motion here. So I've got some 1095 bar stock here, 12 inches long, and I haven't used this in years. I've had this sitting around, so I'm going to use this for the EMT knife here. So got the pattern cut out, or I got the pattern traced out, so I'll cut this out. And this is actually going to be mostly a stock removal project. I'll get to utilize some of the different functions on the new broad beck grinder, so we'll get started. Okay, so the small wheel attachment for the broad beck, it comes with two different small wheels. So this is the smallest one that I got. We'll throw this on here, and this just pops in like that. And I'm going to try to use that to put in the put in the serrations. Okay, so here's what it's looking like. This is actually really close to what I had in mind, almost exactly. So I'm actually really happy with the way this is coming out. A little bit of a screw up here on this serration here, kind of a big bummer there. You know, I'd be able to sharpen this up, and you know, that'd just be sort of a cosmetic thing. I'm gonna try to fix that because overall it's looking pretty good otherwise. But so we're just gonna try to take down this material and get that imperfection out. But that's basically exactly what I was looking for. So they're essentially giant VEF serrations, if you're familiar with the that type of serrations on CRT knives. I'm basically just copying this idea. So overall happy with this. If I can just fix this cosmetic issue, then I'll really be happy. Okay, so that's already looking a little bit better. So, still hot. So cool. So hey, again, not perfect, but I think I'll probably do the final sharpen with some files on there. But even just taking off that bit of material there, it really lightened this blade up quite a bit. You know, it kind of made it quite a bit less top heavy. So I took these. I took these serrations down to 0 termination, and I left this edge flat. So I might go in and put just a little bit of a shallow edge bevel there, just to make that, just to help make that obtaining that sharp edge a little bit easier. But overall, I'm really happy with this. This is looking good. Okay, so now to sharpen up these teeth. You can see they're a little bit jagged. I can even move it around with my finger. So we gotta dress that up a bit here. And I already did it on this one just to kind of test it out, and I sharpened it up. So I just get a small little round file. And I got some 220 grit emery paper, and I got it wrapped up in a dowel rod. And I use this to kind of polish it up a bit, and use this to sharpen the edge as well. For the handle scale material, I've got this rubber matting. This is pretty thick stuff. This is the idea is that in kind of wet or bloody conditions, it'll give the knife you know, excellent traction in the hand, so it won't slip out or anything like that. So this is from usaKnifeMaker.com. Rubber matting. This is used for like horse stalls, I guess, for the flooring. So pretty thick stuff. Got my handle design traced out. I'm going to leave a little bit of room here for grinding down the glass breaker a bit. I've got that traced out on here as well. I started working with it. It's pretty tough stuff. Very difficult to cut through because the rubber adheres to the knife, but the using the coping saw seems to be working out okay. Yeah, I really just need to cut off enough of a chunk that I can get the handle on there. And I'll probably grind it down the rest of the way. Got a little fresh drill bit. So what's nice about this rubber is once you drill the hole out, it kind of, you know, suctions up, tightens up back around, and so you put the rod in there, and it actually adheres to that quite well. So I was a little worried about how this would epoxy up, but it grabs onto those pins good enough that as long as the pins are glued in, and there's a bit of glue on here, then it should stay in. So you can see we got quite a bit of thickness. So what I'm going to do basically is just try to grind down this side flat. It's just got some ridges. So we'll see how well that goes. Alright, well here's how our knife is looking. I ended up putting the pebble texturing on the inside of the handle because this grinds so difficult. It's so difficult to grind this stuff that it just wasn't possible to make a flush, to grind it flush. It just would not work. So what I found the only way to grind this is kind of come in at an angle and really aggressively push it. So I was able to do that. So got it thinned down. It's not even. I'll do a little bit more tweaking and finessing, but it's feeling good. I'm liking the feel. This is a nice, secure grip, just like I was hoping, and it should perform as intended. So yeah, so I'll clean it up a little bit. I got to neaten up in this area here. I found that hacksaw works best for kind of cutting through that, but as you can see, it's difficult to get a clean, even cut because of the way it kind of moves around and shifts. So I'll take these scales off and probably grind them to like a nice finished shape, but that's how she's looking. Okay, so I got the knife tempered and then went over it with the wire wheel. So tempered it at about 350 in the oven for 2 hours, total of 2 times. So that should hopefully, with 1095, that'll bring the Rockwell hardness to about 65 on the Rockwell scale. So pretty hard. This is not, you know, like a camp knife or a fighting knife or anything like that. I just want this to hold the edge for the longest amount of time. So good hard steel. Again, all this has got to do is cut seat belts and break glass. So go ahead and get this glued up. Alright, well here's a look at the finished knife. I actually did some ordered up some seatbelt material and did some cutting tests with it, and it cuts really well. When the seatbelt material is taut, there's just a little bit of slack in there. It kind of works more like a saw, but it still gets the job done. And so the friend of mine who this is going out to, he is left-handed, and so that's why I tried to do the test with my left hand as well. But when that material is taut, just with one cut, it'll pull right through that material. So I did do a little bit of a second bevel on these teeth here, but all this is nice and smooth and curved, so I'm happy with that. So it should be able to slip in between a seat belt and the occupant of the vehicle fairly easily. Handle feels really good. I actually really like the design of the handle. It's a little bit bigger than what my initial drawing was, but I'm definitely much happier with this because it's comfortable, not too thick either. But this is a big knife. He wants to carry this in his cargo pocket on the left-hand side without any sort of clip or anything like that, because I'm not sure that he's supposed to carry this, to be honest. So that's why I'm not naming his name or anything like that. So, but that's how he wants to carry it. So here's the sheath I made for it. Just a simple leather sheath with a snap. So again, if it's going to be on the left-hand side, he can reach in with his left hand, pop that snap, and it's ready to go. So with this particular design, this kind of functions as a guard. So if you keeps your hand from going up on the blade, and this is recessed as well. So any sort of material you're trying to cut gets drawn into the sharpened blade area, and then it keeps it safe. Keeps it safe for anything other than the seat belt or rope or whatever it is that you want to cut. Because this will work good for cutting rope or paracord, yada yada yada. But the way that I kind of have this guard is you can hold it like this. You can hold it in sort of a fist and a hammer grip like that. Reverse grip, however you want to hold it, either forward or back, it's the same grip. So whatever you need to do to get the job done. This might be a little bit big and clunky to carry around, and I was a little bit curious why he wanted me to make him a specific knife for cutting seat belts when I figure that there's other tools out there that can do the same job. It's not a new concept, the idea of a seatbelt cutting knife, and they got kind of the gut hook style of ones on certain blades and all that. And I know EMTs carry like shears, trauma shears, and so I tried that out on a belt, and as you can see, it doesn't really want to cut super well. Yeah, it's kind of going at an angle, but you can do it. But even that last little bit is giving me trouble, so I can see how this is not something that he'd be really interested in trying to deal with. And another, a tool that I carry on me all the time is this Rescue Me tool. These are made in the USA. They're $10, so it's got a glass breaker right here with a spring in it, and from the test videos I've seen, these actually work really well. I haven't tested this out myself, but it's just got this little key ring. You pull that off, and it's got a little seatbelt cutter in there. And so I said to him, man, why don't you just get one of these, But he says they didn't work too good for him, and I guess I can see how that might be. But so if there's any sort of slack in here, this gets bound up. It doesn't want to cut. So now that kind of answers the mystery of why he'd want a dedicated seatbelt cutter. Because even if the belt isn't super taut, it still kind of works as a saw, and you're able to get the job done. So it's just a little bit more reliable. Never was able to test the glass breaker here, but it should be pretty good. But it's got a good shape to it, so I imagine it'll work well, and I'm sure he'll get back to me and let me know how it works. So we'll just call this a prototype EMT knife, and hopefully he enjoys it and it works well for him. And honestly, hopefully he doesn't have to use it too often. But that's the line of work that he's in. So, well, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video and enjoyed watching me build this knife. It was kind of a challenge. Got to use some of my new tools. I've never done a wholly stock removal knife before, and I'm pretty happy with it. It was fun to kind of try to design something new but functional, and I had to make sure it worked, and I think it did. And if it doesn't, we'll just consider this a prototype and I'll make him something bigger and better. But I'm sure he'll test it out and get back to me and let me know how it goes. So I got links for Facebook, Instagram, the merch store, Etsy web store, Patreon. All those links are in the description box below, so you can go ahead and check those out. If you want your own custom knife, send me a message through Etsy Messenger or through Instagram or Facebook, and we'll see what we can make for you. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. As always, I appreciate the support, and until next time, be more Viking.